I obviously live in the UK, and then I started bodybuilding probably two years ago, 3 years ago, because I started in 2020, and then I did a show two in 2021 and 2022, and then I took this year off. And I do online coaching, online posing, but I also work at Volkswagen as like my main job, so I do all of it at once, basically. It was after the whole COVID lockdown. When I used to go to JD Gym, and the manager there, she asked if I competed, and I was like, I don't even, I wouldn't even consider myself as that good to compete. And she's like, no, you definitely have like the shape for it. She's like, maybe have a think about it because she's done it herself. I was like, oh, I'm not really sure. So then like about 3 months went by, and she's like, have you had any much thought on it? And I was just like, oh, a bit. And then she kind of got it like stuck in my head. So then after that, she got me a coach, and it just went off from there. So I did my first show, and I only came fourth, and I was like, oh, I need to get a lot bigger. So then I didn't, how many shows did I do last year? I think I did five last year. And then I won three, and second in one and fourth in the other. I YouTubed it and started watching like the Olympia and like all the Arnold shows, and I was like, some of them are just huge. I was like, I cannot be that big yet. I was like, she can't be thinking that. And then I saw bikini category, and I was like, maybe she means that one because I was quite small, and I was like, oh, maybe I could fit into that one if I got a bit leaner. And then I just loved bikini. And then I grew into my last prep, like my lower half just grew probably a bit too much to fit into bikini anymore. So now I've swapped from bikini to wellness and did so much research last year into wellness. And it's just such, in my opinion, a better category, like for me anyway.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the journey, right? Is when you get started trying to figure out kind of what your body type is really going to be when you start training like a bodybuilder. For you, when you
Yeah.
did get a coach and start training, was there a big adjustment as far as like how your training went and how, you're kind of seeing all the aspects of training and diet and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, because I thought I was eating a lot as like before I even started eating as much as I should have. I was like, yeah, I'm eating a lot. And then my coach put me on like so much, and I was like, I felt sick near enough every day eating so much. I was like, this is a lot to eat every day. And then I was like, you know what, it's fine because it's gonna get me bigger anyway. And then my training, I thought I was training hard until I met my partner, and he put me through one of his workouts, and I was like, I definitely need to train harder than what I'm training. So then he got me training better than what I was. He got my form right and everything. So ever since then, I've just grew so much more. So
Yeah, you mentioned the food, and I think it's funny. I was eating on a plane for a while, and I remember feeling like super full, like you mentioned. And now that I'm like off my plan for a while or for however long, I don't like it doesn't feel like I can eat that much. It feels like whenever I know I'm supposed to eat that much that I'm capable of it. But now it's like if I had to do that, I would be like, there's no way I could finish that much food and eat like one meal or doing that for a whole day. Hey, weight room listeners, looking to transform your fitness coaching business? Let me introduce you to Trainer Revenue Multiplier. With values like integrity, passion, and growth, they provide unparalleled training for fitness coaches like you. Whether you're just starting out or an experienced coach, TRM's got a package tailored for your growth. Jumpstart your journey with the silver package or elevate your game with the gold. And for those who truly want to redefine success, platinum's your next step. Don't just train, thrive with TRM. Check them out using the link in the show notes.
yeah, definitely. I think at one point I was on just under 5,000 calories at once, and that was all like clean food. That wasn't like the extra cookies that I was eating on top. So that was a lot at one point. I proper struggled, but still, you just gotta do it.
So for you, when you did transition to like eating that much and eating clean, was there any was there anybody like friends, family, or anything that was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Like, what's going on?
Everybody, my mum and dad, they were like, They were dead a minute and about it. They were like, is she gonna stick to it? Like, is it just gonna be one of those hobbies where she sticks for it for like, don't know, like a year and then she quits? Or but like I never all the hobbies that I've normally had, I've always like stuck them out for quite a while. Because I did motocross racing for 12 years at one point. So they were like, maybe this is her next thing that she can stick out for like years. So then when I did my first show, they were like proper proud. Like they were like, yeah, she's probably going to keep going with this. And then like 3 years later, and I'm still going at it, and they're super proud because at first they were like, that's a lot of food to be eating, and I'm like, you just got to get big. Like my dad understands the gym a lot more than my mum. Mum was like, you're gonna be getting like so big and manly. I was like, no, mum. I was like, we're gonna look good. I was like, it's fine. And my dad was like, yeah, this is gonna be good. That my brother, I think he was the one who was like a bit like, why are you doing that kind of thing? But my friends, they were quite supportive because they're into the gym anyway. So I think it was more the people who don't understand going to the gym that were a bit like, why would you want to do that? And I'm like, it's the same as why would you want to do your hobby?
Right.
Like this is mine. So
When you did start to get into that first season and maybe even after the first show, getting into multiple shows, like when you gain a little more experience on how things work, did it feel to you ever where it started to get overwhelming at all?
the first year was more like I just wanted to do it for experience. I wasn't even thinking of placing or anything. But I mean, I came fourth in my first show, which was quite good. I just went straight into a prep and because I already had built like a small amount of muscle, so I was like, yeah, I'll just do it just for the fun of it. And then I was like, oh, I actually did all right. So I was like, I'll carry on. And then last year, I felt a bit more pressure to do better than I did the year before because I was like, not to prove to like everyone else, but to prove to myself that I can do better than what I did. So then I think at one of my shows, I had a whole meltdown because I knew that I wasn't like lean enough, and I said to my partner, I was like, I don't want to do it. And he was like, no, no, it's like you've got to do it. And I was sat, it was 2 hours before the show, and I was like, I don't want to do it. I was like, I just can't get on that stage looking like this. And he was like, you'll be fine. And he just calmed me down, went on and I won. I was like, could you imagine if like I didn't do it and then I wouldn't have won? So I won it. I think that's the worst one, like experience that I had of a meltdown. And then the ones after that just were fine. They just went through fine because I was like, you know what, you just gotta go for it and don't really matter if you it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter if you play because you go for the experience and more of like you make like quite a lot of friends when you're there too. So it's like quite a nice atmosphere, I think. So
Was like the prep brain or the like a competition day you kind of you talked about right there having that like meltdown, but just in general, like during a prep where it was that something that you handled pretty well as far as like being able to navigate through that mentally and emotionally, or is that something that took some practice too?
it definitely takes a bit of practice with like having a whole prep brain is so much different to how you think now. Because like you look at yourself and you think, I'm definitely not lean enough to do any of this. Like I need to keep going. But then everyone else is just like, are you crazy? Because like you're like so lean and you're like, no, I'm not. Like I need to keep going. And everyone else thought I was absolutely mental because I was like, no, it's fine. Like I just need to keep going. Like, I need to get a bit leaner and I'll be fine. I definitely did work on it by the end of it because yeah, I didn't manage it at the start, but it's a lot better than especially like coming like post show too. You still have it because like no matter how much you eat post show, it takes you like a good 4 or 5 weeks to get out of that like mental state to like get back to normal. Well, normal isn't like a normal like way of thinking. It was quite hard for me, especially because my partner was prepping at the same time as me. So he had the same mindset as me, and we were both like at each other a bit, but we definitely something we worked on.
Is there like like tools that you use, like journaling or video, like diaries or anything like that that you use now or that you've thought about using during prep just to kind of try to keep your head on straight at all?
There was this, I can't think what the app's called, but it'll play like soothing noises, like while you're trying to sleep. That's a really good one because I struggled to sleep when I was in prep. Um, I think it's called Calm. I'm not too sure, but it would play like really soothing sounds, and that was quite helpful. Or listen to like podcasts of like girls in the Olympia that like have been through it all, and they give like really good advice to watch. So that's one of the things that I used to watch. And then
Mm.
we used to watch what other ones? I can't even think off the top. I used to just watch multiple podcasts and sit and try and listen to them and listen to their advice, I think.
I think it's really cool, getting to talk to some Olympians myself, how relatable they are because it's kind of like even though they're at like this top high level, they're still going through the same things, right? Like they're going through a prep, they're going through, 16 weeks of doing the same thing that you're doing, whether it's your first show or your 100th show or, so I think it's really cool how you can like listen to them and take almost exactly what they say and be like, oh, that makes sense for my situation. Like I can implement that exact tip or strategy or tool into my situation because I'm going through, I have a show in 8 weeks as well. So it's kind of cool how even though they are like, going to be competing at a high level, like you can still take almost what they say and utilize it yourself.
I know a lot of you are coaches and trainers. Ever feel like your fitness coaching business could achieve more? That's where Trainer Revenue Multiplier comes in. They're not just about training, they're about transforming your passion into profit. Dive deep into value-driven coaching with TRM's unique approach, ensuring you stay true to your integrity while driving growth. From beginners to seasoned pros, they've got a package tailored just for you. So whether you're aiming to turn part-time into full-time or multiply your revenue, TRM's got your back. Check them out at trainerrevenuemultiplier.com.
Yeah, definitely. Because like they've probably been through a lot more shows than me. So like they have like more experience in how to deal with things better. So like it's nice when they can like relate to you and give you better advice to deal with things better.
Right. So
Definitely.
when you got out of your last show for your first season, did you have like a plan going from there, or was it more like, let's just kind of see what happens in this off season and then make a plan?
It was more like I saw how it looked on stage and I was like, that could look a lot better if I trained harder. So I thought, well, I'm gonna do like I think I had about 9 months, 8 months of a mini off season, and then I grew a bit, well, a lot more than what I was, and then did a 17-week prep and went straight into my next shows. I wasn't expecting to place on them ones because I knew like the standard was a bit higher. When you go to like towards the end of the year, the standard's a lot higher. So I was like, I'm not sure whether I've built enough to look like that. But then I obviously did. But now I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, I need to be bigger now. Like it's always like I look at myself and I'm like, that could be bigger, like that could be better. So it's like always like a vicious like cycle of like that could look better, but I did look good, but it could be better.
I think that's such a hard thing to balance for a lot of bodybuilders.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because you've got to enjoy where you are. Because like most people want to look how you look in your off season. Because it's like, oh, I'd die to look like that. And it's like you kind of look at yourself and you're like, yeah, like, but I want to be bigger. But like, yeah, but I'd want to be how you are. I get it quite a lot because it's like people are like, oh, I want to be like that, and it's like, really? Like you can't not like self-doubting, but you're like, people actually do want to look how you look, and it's like it makes you appreciate what you've got as how you look now. So it's like, oh, maybe I do look like all right for how I look now. So it's like it makes you appreciate it a lot more.
I think when you think about like how hard you've worked out, how many, workouts you've done, how much food that you've eaten, the cardio that you've done, the rest and recovery that you've dedicated yourself to doing, it's crazy to think that like you have done that for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and you still have that like struggle with yourself.
It's like if you just have like big goggles on, like you can't see how you look because you look at yourself every day. So it's like when someone else sees you, they see everything good about you, but then you're looking at yourself like, but this could be better and that could be better. But it's like I feel like we all need to like appreciate how we look and like the journey of it all to like because you'll look back on that exact photo that you took or like video that you took that day where you felt really bad. You look back at it in like a year and be like, I actually did look good there. And then you're like, how could I have not appreciated that there? But I think it's just more of like a learning thing that a
Right.
lot of us need to do.
Yeah. And then like you look at social media and you'll see like a bodybuilder compliment another bodybuilder, and it's like, okay, yeah, you look great. And then
Yeah.
when they think about themselves, they don't think the same thing. When in reality, it's like, oh, you look just as good as they do, but you don't see that in
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, definitely. 'Cause, yeah, you get it a lot because I struggled a lot post show last year of like going from really lean to like a rebound off my show. And then I posted one of my photos from the British finals where I came second, and I'd moved into wellness 24 hours before the show day because the head judge was like, "You're not gonna do anything in bikini because you're way too like lower dominant for the bikini girls who were there." And I was like, "Oh my God," I was panicking, and then I had a coach come over to me and she was like, I'll pose you into it, it's fine. Came second in the British finals last year. And I posted that photo and Joe Francili Motto, she I tagged her in it and she commented back to me on my story and like all these like hearts and like this emoji, and I was just like, oh my God. Like having like a little fangirl moment. I was like, okay, maybe I should keep going. Because she like sent this like one comment to me and I was like, okay, sure. I'll just keep going. It was a good moment. I think it is quite helpful because like a lot of my friends, they're going through prep now and I know what it feels like to feel like you don't look good enough, but it's like they'll send me their like check-in photos or something and I'm like, that's absolutely insane. Like you look amazing. But then I think back to my prep, I didn't think I looked good. And I'm like, you've just got to realize like your head's a bit in prep mode. So like you've got to realize like how good you actually look right now. And like, I try to help a lot of my friends who are going like through prep or their off season. And we all just like have like a little nice community. It's nice. I
Yeah.
think it's helpful to have like friends in the same situation. Most of the girls that I've met, some of them I've never even met them in person. I've just met them online, and like they're the most supportive people I've like ever met. And it's like some of my closest friends don't really get the gym, so it's like they're supportive, but they're not like they don't get it in a way. So I just like it was so nice to meet people like online and like in person that know how like hard you have to train, like how much you have to eat and what you actually go through. Because it's not like it's a lonely sport, but like when you've got to eat all your meals and like go to the gym and have all those hours doing all those things, it could get a bit lonely, but then you realize like how many people you've actually got supporting you is it's nice. Because like my partner, he does the exact same thing as me. So it's like he doesn't question why I go to the gym for like 2 hours. And it's like he doesn't question why I eat so much because he's doing the exact same. So it's nice to have like quite a supportive group.
So at what point did you actually start coaching?
It was only after my last prep last year because I realized like how many people I was just getting messages from like, can you coach me? Can you do this? And I was just like, I didn't really want to do it while I was on prep because I wanted to be like in the right state of mind to like give people like better like communication, like better services. Because like when you're in prep, you kind of just gotta focus on one thing and just get your mind like into that. So I thought, well, maybe I should start it when I'm in my off season after my prep last year. So I started that, and then my partner started it at the same time as me. So we've grown like a little page on our own and started our coaching up because we're both like qualified, so it's it's easy to do because like we meet people in the gym and he's more talkative in person than me, so like he can go up to people and talk to people, whereas mine are more like they'll message me on Instagram instead because like I feel like girls are a bit more socially awkward because like lads can just go up to lads in the gym but you're right like, and then girls are just a bit like they wouldn't really want to say anything. But I usually get more messages than anything. When I meet someone in person, I'm just like, what if I say this and they think I'm like a total weird person because I am quite weird. So I'm just like, I can't see the wrong thing and just put them off at the first like instant. But then I'm just like, I will talk to people in gym, but it's a bit like, hi, like kind of like awkward hi. But I think like it's more easier for lads because they're more like they don't care at all what people think about them. So they're just like, yeah, you're right, and like have a full-blown conversation about anything. Whereas like I made a friend a couple of weeks ago and I never even knew she went to my gym. And I was just like, I saw her on my gym story and I was like, since when did she go to my gym? And I messaged her and I was like, I won't suppose you want to train with me at any point. And now, yeah, we're off to like Gymshark gym this week.
That's funny.
It's great.
This podcast is sponsored by Smoking Gun Coffee, a veteran-owned coffee company that strives to give back to those in need. Don't forget to use code TWR10 for a 10% discount at checkout.
So when you actually first started to coach people, gaining more and more clients and like more, I guess, different, like different cases of different people having kind of different lives and having to, work with people in different ways, you're like thinking about more variables. Did you ever have a case where it's like you're telling someone else to do something and you realize like, well, if I do that for me, or if I tried that myself, or maybe that food or that different tip that I just gave somebody would actually work for me well?
I've done that before. Yeah, because like I've grown my lower quite well because I do have a coach, and the way that we've had to like work around because I've had an injury and I have two clients who've got a similar injury to me and they're like, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that. And I'm like, I have the best alternative for like multiple things because I have like injuries. And the way I've helped them is so more like beneficial because like no one's really like helped them like get around that because I can't squat properly because of my hip. So I'm just like giving them alternatives to do different things, which is it's good because it's like then they can get the best like work out of what they can do with like what they've got, really. So I think some stuff like they've suggested to me too, because they're like, oh, but have you tried this way? And I'm just like, no, but I will. Like I'll go to the gym and try it and see like how I can perform in the gym to make it better for them too. So it's like good communication with like clients is like the best way. When you meet other coaches too, and they're talking about like some exercises that they've been trying, I'm just like, tell me more. Like I need to know like how you're doing that. Or like if I see someone who's got like better shoulders than me and I'm just like I asked to train with them because it's like if they've got something that I want to know what they're doing to like get better and like see how I perform in like different ways. And like people train with me like in my lower because like they think I've got better lower, but then they've got a better upper. So I'm just like, I'll train opposites with you so I can get better and they can get better. It's nice to learn a lot more off like other people because like no one knows everything because like people know like other things that'll help other people. So it's like it's definitely all about learning different ways, styles of training. I struggled with my food in prep last year. I was vegetarian, like full on vegetarian for 5 years. And there was this, I couldn't get rid of my bloating in my stomach before my show. And I was like, what is going on? I was like, tried digestive enzymes, tried like so many like anti-bloat stuff. And I was just like, it must be what I'm eating. So I was like, I'm just gonna have to not be vegetarian for this prep. And it hurt a lot. And then we started on just like chicken. Within 2 weeks, I dropped water off everything and I looked the leanest I'd looked. And I was like, great, I've definitely got to change my food because I couldn't find the right vegetarian foods for me to stick to that were not going to make me hold all this water. And I was like, great, I'm just going to have to not be vegetarian now. And I think it was quite hard to change from that after being like that for like 5 years. But my digestion's like so much better than what it was. So I think the change from that to eating like normal food, it upsets your stomach a little bit because like you're not used to digesting actual like meats and like all the proteins that are in it. So I was a bit like bloat you like for a few couple of days and then you just like drop everything. It was great. It was a good look once I changed. So I think yeah. I have one client who's vegetarian and she doesn't bloat at all. So I'm just like, great. I wish I could, but
Did it drastically affect your meals?
yeah, because like the amount of protein you had to get out of like either whey or like the chicken, like the fake meat chicken was like you had to eat so much more to get the equivalent to just like one chicken breast. So it was like 250 grams of just like pieces to like one little piece. And I was just like, I was eating so much. It was great when I was on prep, but like I think that's what was bloating me because I was eating so much to try and like weigh it out the same. It was
Right.
just, it was hard. I was eating a lot of like whey protein, which wouldn't have been digested properly anyway because I was eating so much of it. It was just not really a good thing to do, I think,
Did you see any
for me.
impacts on your training at all because of that, whether it be because of the food or just because of how you were feeling?
I think it impacts my leg days because like obviously like you're let down sometimes. Like it made me feel a bit sick, I think, just because of the bloating though. Um, I think that's all it did. It was just on the leg days. The other days are fine, but I don't think no, not much else changed.
Gotcha. And then, looking into, you mentioned that you did motocross, right? You said before
Yeah.
for 12 years. So do you ever think like, if you look at the beginning to 12 years, what is my bodybuilding career? What is my coaching career going to look like? Do you ever think about that? Do you ever have like those bigger visions?
Yeah, because like I know how much I progressed in racing and like it was all literally of experience though, and like talking to different people and gaining like what their thoughts and like their ways of like racing were and like learning more of them. So I think like it's definitely like coaching because like you're always learning, you're always like getting different information of people and it's just yeah, it's literally like the same. But like within coaching, I hope I can do it as a full-time job in the future. And like I can just put like my whole heart into that instead of doing like my full-time job and this on the side. Like
Right.
I'd love that to be like my full-time thing.
With like the future of competing for you as well as just the future of competing in general, just with bodybuilding as a sport, do you see that there's any major changes as far as like either how you do things just based on what you've learned over the last couple of years? And then do you see that there's like maybe changes within either bodybuilding locally where you are or bodybuilding as a whole?
I feel like there's a lot of people doing bodybuilding, but like there's not that much where I live. There's not a lot of us. There's like a small group of us that do it and we all know each other. I think they're more like up north from me, like where there's a lot of them because we don't have a lot of big bodybuilding gyms here. They're definitely more up north, like in the Midlands of England. I feel like everyone who does bodybuilding here is either moving to Dubai or they're moving abroad. It's like they don't stay here because like once they've got like a big online coaching, they'll just move abroad because the weather here is, I mean, it's a bit sunny now, but the weather here is usually raining. And it's more like online coaches are moving abroad and doing it there rather than staying here, which is probably what I'd do if I could. But yeah, it's a lot different here. I feel like America has a bigger bodybuilding community than we do here, though. Before I properly like got into my bodybuilding, I lived more in the Midlands, near Manchester, and I didn't really know anyone who was bodybuilding but my coach and my partner. So I moved down south, and then I realized there was so much more people up north, so we should have just moved up there instead. But I feel like because we know so many people now, as you said, like the online, like you just know so many people online. It's you can just like build it offline now
Yeah.
instead of just like living in that exact place. The past 2 years, like the whole bodybuilding is just like blew up. Like there's so many more people into like fitness, going to the gym, and there's like more people just wanting to get more healthy. Just like, even if it's not bodybuilding, just going to the gym and getting more healthy just for themselves. And I think that's great though, because like I feel like it's better for your mind, like if you do go to the gym, because like you're up, you're out, you're in the gym, you're like socializing in a way because you're around other people who want to do the same thing. Just go to the gym and just have a good workout.
Yeah.
Because like it doesn't really matter what you go to the gym for, like you're all there to train anyway. So like I feel like not like no one judges you when you're there, because you're all there for a similar reason anyway, just to make yourself feel better in a way, just because you're going, which is what I like. People do go out to have fun, like they go out for a drink and have fun, but you're not really gaining a lot. Just like I do go out like minimal times a year, probably like New Year and Christmas and my birthday. That's as much as I get. But it's not really a personal gain thing. Like, because you go into the gym and your mental health's better and you're socializing, and it just creates this whole happiness. Like you're just there because you're doing something better for yourself, and you can help people like while you're in there. It's just, that's like my favorite place to be in the day, I think, is the gym.
It was great getting to chat with you today. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good for my first one.
Absolutely. And before we head out, if you want to share any social media or website or anything like that, you can.
Yeah, my Instagram is just my name, Chantelle Hagan, and we just started up our coaching Instagram, which is co-coaching, and you can all go and give that a follow because we're accepting all new clients now.
If you're tired of searching for a coach or trainer, somebody who knows what they're talking about and has experience, make sure you go check out the new Coach's Corner on weightroompodcast.com. You can find quality, qualified coaches to help you achieve your goals, whether that's in bodybuilding or just general fitness. Stop wasting time and start achieving your goals today. The link to the Coach's Corner is down in the description below.